Hi guys, and welcome to today's price action analysis video. This is the price action analysis of the 12th of April 2022. And how was your day today? Let me know in the comment section below. So let's start by analyzing Nifty first. Well, it was a pretty sideways day in Nifty today. It was not a very wide CPR, so the expectation was not that the day would be so sideways, but SGX Nifty was indicating a gap down opening, and we did have a gap down opening. And you could see that Nifty opened with a red candle, which was not a very strong red candle. You can see this candle here, it had a wick on the bottom and it was taking resistance around this area which we had prior marked as a support. And Nifty was not really looking very positive anyway for the entire day. In fact, Bank Nifty looked very positive throughout the entire day. Every time Nifty looked to go down, Bank Nifty was stabilizing, and it could be seen that the broader sectors were taking a beating, but the Bank Nifty was holding strong. And you could see this large red candle, it broke this particular zone here, and the price was between the S2 and the S3. It went from the S2 to S3 pretty fast, and then it attempted to break the S3 at this moment, but here it took a U-turn and it went up, broke the S3 from the bottom also, so a resistance of S3 was also broken. Then for a long time it traded between the space between S2 and S3, and usually it is seen that when it's a average sized to narrow CPR, you can see that whenever price opens outside S1 and PDL, then it is usually, you can consider it to be a trending day, or you can have a trending bias on that day. But today what happened was Nifty and Bank Nifty were really looking opposites. So Bank Nifty was not looking weak and Nifty was looking really weak, and so I was not really of the opinion that the market would reverse from here or even from the S3. And you can see here that price kept going in a very tight range for a long time, and at this point at 1:45 p.m. Bank Nifty gave a rally of nearly 500 points, and so Nifty was also pulled by nearly 150 points. So a wonderful rally that, and you could see that bulls were giving support. You could see here also there was support here, then a long time candles took support here. This particular candle broke down from that support, but again it was provided support at this level, and from there you can see how price bounced. That bounce of course came due to Bank Nifty, as I just said. And usually we see that after the price opens outside the previous day low and the S1, what happens is usually the day tends to trend, and it kind of did, because after the S2 was broken here right in the first candle, it went and hit the S3, and at the S3 after that it was taking support here and it bounced from here. And you could see the kind of volatility in price here in this area. It kept going sideways, up and down, then it again dipped down, and then it went up. So a pretty volatile day actually. But you know that usually I take entries whenever I see any sort of candles around the DL, the PDL, right, at the day low. So sometimes if I see a candle break into the previous day low here, then that's a good opportunity to go long into, because it is a breakout trade there. But no such opportunity was there in Nifty today. In fact, you could see how Nifty kept going down from here, and you could see how there were strong candles in that area. You could see how these red candles were strong candles, barely any green candles in this area, right? Apart from these two candles here, you can see that there are no green candles in that area, very strong red candles. You can see how price goes on going downwards, making lower highs, and that was the indication that the day would not be very positive as far as Nifty went. But then buyers gave good support at this level out here. Depending on this, there were no trade entries in Nifty today as far as my strategies go. Let's move ahead and check for levels of Nifty. What levels do we have? We will delete these levels. I had said in yesterday's price action analysis video that this area, this entire area is going to be a very important area, and I had said that if price opens somewhere within this area, ensure that you don't short here because of the supports there. See, now price is below that area, right? You can see that price is trading below that area. So now whenever price goes from this particular zone up to this area here, now this area is going to act as a strong resistance. Okay, so we have a resistance in this area. Now it is going to be difficult for price to cross that zone now. So always be careful whenever you take positions in the upcoming days, especially going long now. So I would not be very bullish in my mind until the level of around 17,700 is convincingly broken. The 17,700 is around here. Okay, so around this area here, I want to see price coming back to this zone here. Until the point of until the time that happens, I do not think I will really be having a very bullish opinion about the market at this point. So you could see that price kept trading between these two zones here, and since price has bounced from the day low, it has bounced around 150 points. We will mark the day low as a demand zone. Let's go up to the 15 minutes time frame to just mark these levels properly. We can see here that this is a very strong green candle, the 1:45 p.m. candle, the 2 p.m. candle, followed up by the 2:15 p.m. candle and the 2:30 p.m. candle. So fairly strong candles, those, barely any wicks on those candles on the top side, and you can see that price took a U-turn again at around 2:45 p.m. So now you can mark this area as a resistance area, and we can put a zone there. So another area, a strong area of resistance. So you can see that Nifty has a strong area of resistance in this zone here now. Okay, so be very careful opening or taking any long positions in that area. We can also put a box around this area here. Okay, let's just check out the daily time frame. Right, a few videos ago I had said to you that I hope that the low of this particular green candle is not broken, and then the second support was going to be the low of this particular 1st April candle. Now we are very close to that support here. In fact, today price has taken the support around that same area. So now we have to ensure that price sustains this support here. This area is very important to be sustained by price. If price can sustain this area, then we will be able to look at some upward move from here. This particular day and this particular candle is not a very good sign. Okay, at least in the immediate short term, I'm talking about in the next few months perspective. I really do hope that this particular level that we have marked, the low of this candle, does not get broken tomorrow in the next trading session, that is around 17,400. So the 17,400 level is very essential in the upcoming sessions. So now let's go back to the 5-minute time frame. Just ensure that you take down all these levels. I do post all these levels daily on Twitter for your benefit, so that you can always take down these levels and trade based on these levels. These are important levels marked from historical price action, and unless you see any strong candles breaking these levels, it is not advisable to take any position. We are in a volatile market right now. Price keeps going sideways and keeps making violent moves. So be very careful opening positions, and if possible, dial down on your position sizing. Okay, let's head over to Bank Nifty now. We'll see how Bank Nifty did today. Okay, this is Bank Nifty, and it has opened exactly in the zone that we had marked here. And Bank Nifty was taking support. Now this was an important zone. I had said in yesterday's video, the level of 37,445. You could see that there was support multiple times given to price, and Bank Nifty opened exactly below that support now. So what happens when price opens below a support or a demand zone? It happens to be a resistance. So now Bank Nifty had a resistance here, and it was also incidentally the S1 today. And you could see that after S1 was broken, Bank Nifty took support at the S2, and then S2 was not touched at all for the rest of the entire session. And that is why I said that Bank Nifty did not look weak to me at all today. you can see these candles here, the green candles that came in after the S2 was touched, and no other candle after that touched the S2 pivot here. See how it has taken support above the S2 pivot and it has bounced from there. And if you consider the low of today, that is in Bank Nifty, let's calculate how much Bank Nifty bounced after touching the S2 pivot. You can see that it has gone more than 650 points, and that is the power of pivot points. See how it has taken a support there, and in fact it had opened below the demand zone that we had marked here, right? And still there was strong demand in that area, and you could see the kind of candles that it was making. Now this was a strong candle, not a very weak red candle there. Even this was a very strong candle. So sellers were strong initially, they were trying to push the price down, but then after these two candles came in and this candle immediately broke out of the S1, then I knew that the next resistance would be the previous day low. And the moment that the 12:05 p.m. candle right here had broken out of the previous, or rather broken into the previous day's range, I had tweeted not to go long on this candle. I had tweeted that you should not go long on that candle and don't be impatient. Why? Because this candle had barely closed above the new high that was created by the 12 p.m. candle. Where was the initial PDL? It was here. Now this 12 p.m. candle, exactly this one, did not close above the PDL, right? You can see here it doesn't close above the PDL, and then you can see this candle's closing. It's not convincing at all. And then what happens? It makes a new high here. There's a new high there, and again this particular candle tried to come up to that high and try to break it, but you can see that that high was not broken. Which candle was that? It was a 12:50 p.m. candle. And then in fact you can see that this area acted as a resistance. It pushed price back down from there, and again this particular gap, the upper border of the gap that we had marked initially, which was broken here at this point, and but then here again, before it hit the gap there, it turned and it took a nice bounce from there. So it never really went back to the S2 pivot. And after that, after this particular doji, you can see that now this becomes the new high. So see how high this PDL had now gone. This is the new resistance. You can call this the new previous day low also. But the previous day resistance has been raised by price today within today's session, and then it was this particular green candle that broke it. But then you could see that there was CPR right ahead of it. But when this candle was formed, this green candle, I was sure that CPR was going to be broken without much effort, because the CPR was very close to the PDL, and you can see here that for a long time price had tried to break that zone alone. That one PDL was price was trying to break it for a long time. And what was that candle that touched the PDL initially? It was a 12 p.m. candle, right? And from the 12 p.m. candle onwards, price was trying to break the PDL. Finally at 2 p.m., that is exactly 2 hours later, the breakout comes through. And such breakouts are very strong, and they usually take out all other resistances except a wide CPR. But as you could see, the CPR was not very wide today, and so I was pretty confident that the CPR would be broken immediately at this level. So that obviously happened. But then where do I normally take a trade? Where do I normally initiate a trade? I would normally initiate a trade if you can see that there is a green candle that has broken out here. You can say that this is a green candle like this, okay, and it's a strong candle, okay. It has to be a candle particularly like this. It has to be a strong candle. And now when the green candle breaks out, this is a good place to have the SL below the green candle, giving it some room, and then you can take an entry around the 50% retracement or 50% pullback of that candle. 50% is important because you cannot jump into the trade here, right? Where would you book your profit? It would be here. So this trade isn't good enough. It's not really 1:2, isn't it? And so you should always wait for a 50% retracement or a pullback, which usually always happens, and then you can take a trade here. But then what had happened before was that this particular line had become the new level, the new high, and then this was the new high. So such things should not happen. Usually when price comes here, there should be a consolidation around this zone, and then after that when price breaks out of it like this strongly, then there should not be any candle wick before this particular candle here, green or red, whatever, but there should not be any candle wick, and this closing should be above any other candle wick, and there should be space for you to take a trade, and only then you should take a trade. Then at this level, when this candle broke into the previous day's range and it hit the CPR, it was already at the resistance, right? And although you know that this is going to be a strong breakout and CPR might not hold it, but you don't want to side by the lower probability trades. You want to be siding by the higher probability trades, wherein your winning probability goes up, so you have an edge to win in the markets. That is how you can make money in the markets. Okay, so now depending on this sort of price action, what sort of levels do we have today? Let's see. This gap now needs to be reset. We will find the low of this candle. What is the low of this candle? It's 37,264. We'll adjust it like so, and now this becomes our new gap. So that gap still remains to be filled. We will delete this line now. Let's step up to the 15-minute time frame. Let's do a higher time frame analysis here. What do we see here in the 15-minute time frame? See, we have a good support for price coming around this area, right? So we will mark this area now. Let's take this area into consideration, and we already have the previous day low, that is today's low, marked here, so we don't need to mark any more lines there. Okay, and then we can see that for a long time price kept going sideways and finally it broke this area, right? So that is an important area, but then the CPR is right at that area also. So what we'll do is we'll not mark that area anymore. It will be an important area tomorrow, but we will let that area be. We will not mark it, and we will just adjust this area like so. So we have a zone on the top also. I think that will be all for today's price action analysis. I hope you liked the video. If you have, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell icon so you're notified each time I post a new video. Thank you guys for your patience and for liking the video. I'll see you in the next one.